Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Let's talk about how to use emotional SOAP framework. Step 1, story, your current, your desired story, your situation with respect to an area of emotion to supersize and grow your business. Let's really dive into this a little bit today, and I'll give you a process for coming up with and identifying what is your current story and what is your desired story. Why? Because we want to create that gap between where we are and where we want to be in order to start moving toward where we want to be with respect to a specific emotion that we selected yesterday. I hope you selected one yesterday. I did. I hate to admit it, but I selected frustration again. Now, I would love to say that this is the first time I've ever thought about frustration and that I eliminated it once and for all, but that would be untrue, because what happens in our life is we go through different phases and stages where different emotions impact us more than others. When you're raising your kids, there's different emotions involved than when you are single, or your kids have grown up and they're on living the lives that they want to live, not the lives that we want them to live necessarily, but the lives that they want to live. So how do we go about doing this? Why do we want to do this? What the heck is the SOAP framework, and why does it work for us to build and grow and supersize our business? Well, it's a structured, really challenge overcoming or decision-making process. And it's the simple 4-step process that gets us taking action to create what it is that we want. So the first step in doing that, and I'm on the wrong page, is identify our current situation with respect to a particular emotion. So today I'm identifying what causes me to be frustrated. Why does frustration even show up in my life or in my business? And what am I frustrated about? And what triggers it? And I want to just make a bunch of bullet points about that particular emotion. You pick your emotion and describe in a couple of sentences or in a bunch of bullet points. I like to have at least 10. What is frustration? What's my definition of it? How does it show up? What's happening before or during or after my feeling of frustration? What does it feel like to me? Where does it feel frustrated in my body? What's going on outside of my control that might cause me to feel frustrated, etc.? And I've done this exercise before. And of course, like most things, it isn't necessarily 100% permanent, right? It's like if somebody has a bad habit, they have to resist or choose to have the good habit instead of the bad habit every single day of their life. The same is true of our handling of emotions, our limiting beliefs. Sometimes they'll pop right back in. A situation or an event will happen that will trigger that particular emotion again. And the same is true when we're dealing with, limiting beliefs and emotions and things like that. Unfortunately, emotions are even more easily triggered and returned to us because we all experience a spectrum of emotions every single day. At least the vast majority of us do. I suppose there's some people that don't, but most people do. So we want to identify currently what's going on with respect to this emotion. And then we want to look at and do the same thing for what does our desired handling of that emotion look like? What does me not feeling frustrated, what can I replace that with, etc. And we'll use the rest of the SOAP framework to ferret that out. But first we need to know where we are and then where we want to go. Why? Because that creates the gap between where we are and where we want to go. And once we identify where we want to go and what our desired state is, the universe automatically starts showing us to help us fill in and achieve that, which is very, very powerful. So today, what are we going to do? We're going to take the emotion we identified yesterday, and we're going to say, what's our current situation, our current story? What are the details about how that shows up in my life right now? And then think about, well, what are some of the things that have happened in the past that are causing that to show up? Like, I want to identify, why is it all of a sudden showing up for me again? And I think I know already, but I'm going to still write it down and figure it out. For you, do the same thing with whatever emotion you've selected. And then, maybe it's fear of the competition. That's a really good one with respect to our businesses, because a lot of people overestimate what the competition is even capable of because they've never really researched and identified it. And then what do we want our desired state to be? With respect to competition, I consider competition irrelevant. There is no competition in my mind. Sorry, alarm. All right. Any questions about this? Hit me up and ask. Literally done this tens of thousands of times, this whole framework. So pretty good at helping people with wherever they get stuck in the process and any step along the way. Just ask. Have an amazing day, and I'll, of course, see you tomorrow.